Do you believe you are in control of your thoughts? Do you believe your judgments are sound, your decisions rational, and your beliefs a product of careful, independent reasoning? Most of us would say yes. We see ourselves as the authors of our own lives, the captains of our own minds. But what if I told you that for most of your life, you are not the lead actor in the grand theater of your mind, but a mere spectator? That the story is being written and directed by a hidden protagonist, an impulsive, instinctual, and often deceptive stranger who lives inside your head. This is the monumental revelation at the heart of one of the most important books of the 21st century, Thinking, Fast and Slow. It is not just a book about psychology, it is an owner's manual for the human mind. And today we will unlock its secrets. Imagine two characters reside within your consciousness. The first is System 1. It is the hero of our story, fast, intuitive, emotional, and unconscious. It operates automatically, with little or no effort. It's the part of you that instantly knows 2 + 2 = 4, that recognizes the anger in a person's voice, that swerves the car to avoid a sudden obstacle. It is a marvel of evolutionary engineering, a silent puppeteer that guides almost everything you do. The second character is System 2. This is the conscious, reasoning self, the part of you that you think is you. It is slow, deliberate, analytical, and requires immense effort. It's the part of you that solves 17 multiplied by 24, that parks a car in a narrow space, that weighs the pros and cons of a major life decision. The central premise of Thinking, Fast and Slow is this: our lives are governed by the dynamic and often conflicted relationship between these two systems. System 1 is the star of the show, making instant judgments and generating impressions that become our beliefs. System 2 is the lazy supporting actor, often too tired or too distracted to check the work of System 1. And in the gap between what System 1 intuits and what System 2 fails to correct lies the vast landscape of human error, bias, and irrationality. This book is a map of that landscape. The mastermind behind this map is Daniel Kahneman. But to speak of Kahneman is to speak of his inseparable intellectual partner, the late Amos Tversky. Together, these two Israeli psychologists embarked on a journey that would fundamentally change our understanding of the human mind. Kahneman, a Nobel Laureate, wasn't awarded the prize in psychology, but in economics. Why? Because their work dismantled a foundational pillar of modern economic theory, the idea of the rational actor, the belief that humans make logical decisions to maximize their own interests. Through decades of brilliant and often playful experiments, Kahneman and Tversky demonstrated that we are not rational. We are, in fact, predictably irrational. They revealed the invisible architecture of our thinking, complete with its built-in flaws and cognitive illusions. Thinking, Fast and Slow, is the culmination of this life's work, a gift of insight from one of the greatest intellectual partnerships of our time. System 2 believes it's in charge, but it's incredibly lazy. Its fuel is attention and effort, and our supply is finite. So, by default, it outsources as much work as possible to System 1. This is mostly efficient. You don't want to logically deduce your way through every conversation or every step you take, but this reliance creates a critical vulnerability. System 1's main goal is to create a coherent, plausible story as quickly as possible, using whatever information is most easily available. It doesn't care about truth, it cares about coherence. This leads us to the book's most famous discoveries, cognitive biases. These are not random errors, they are systematic, built-in glitches in System 1's programming. Let me show you a few. The halo effect. If you perceive one positive trait in a person, like attractiveness or confidence, your System 1 will automatically generate a halo around them, assuming they are also intelligent, kind, and trustworthy. This is why charismatic leaders can so easily fool us. We mistake the shine of the halo for the substance of character. The availability heuristic. We judge the frequency of an event by how easily an example comes to mind. After seeing extensive news coverage of a plane crash, we fear flying, even though driving to the airport is statistically far more dangerous. The dramatic, vivid image of the crash is highly available to our minds, so System 1 inflates its probability. It mistakes ease of recall for likelihood. Anchoring. The first piece of information you receive, the anchor, heavily influences subsequent judgments. When a store first shows you a suit for $2,000 and then offers it for $800, your mind doesn't ask, "Is this suit worth $800? Instead, it thinks, "What a fantastic deal." The initial anchor of $2,000 has done its work, regardless of the suit's actual value. These are not just mental quirks. They are cognitive landmines that dictate our political views, our financial investments, and our personal relation. This is the work that won Kahneman the Nobel. It demolishes the idea that we make choices based on rational outcomes. At its core is a simple, powerful truth: losses loom larger than gains. The pain of losing $100 is psychologically far more potent than the pleasure of winning $100. This loss aversion makes us fundamentally conservative and risk-averse. It's why investors hold on to losing stocks for too long. Selling would mean realizing the loss, an act so painful that System 1 resists it. It's why a money-back guarantee is so effective. It removes the fear of loss from the purchasing decision. We are not calculating machines. We are feeling machines that happen to think. And our decisions are not driven by the probability of future value, but by the immediate, emotional story of potential gain or, more powerfully, potential loss. Perhaps the most profound and unsettling idea in the book is that we are not one self, but two. There is the experiencing self, which lives entirely in the present moment. It is the self that feels the warmth of the sun, the sting of a criticism, the joy of a melody. And then there is the remembering self. This is our inner storyteller. It is the self that keeps score, constructs the narrative of our lives, and makes all of our decisions. Here is the twist. The remembering self is a terrible historian. It doesn't care about the duration of an experience. It cares only about two things: the peak, the most intense moment, and the end. This is the peak-end rule. Imagine a wonderful 2-week vacation. If on the final day your luggage is lost and you have a miserable flight home, your remembering self will retroactively tarnish the memory of the entire trip. The painful end will dominate the narrative, even if 95% of the experience was blissful. This has staggering implications. We don't choose between experiences, we choose between the memories of experiences. And because our memory is so flawed, we often make choices that serve the storyteller in our head, not the self that is actually living our life. We chase peak moments and happy endings, even at the cost of our moment-to-moment well-being. So what is the ultimate message of thinking, fast and slow? Is it that we are hopelessly irrational, puppets on the strings of our flawed intuition? No. The message is not one of despair, but of awareness. The core message is this: you cannot trust your gut. Or, more precisely, you must learn when to trust it and when to challenge it. The book is not a manual for eliminating System 1. That would be impossible and undesirable. It is a guide to becoming a better manager of your own mind. It teaches us to recognize the signs of cognitive trouble, the situations where System 1 is likely to make a mistake, and to call in the heavy artillery, the slow, effortful, and logical thinking of System 2. It's about learning to say, "Hold on, let's think this through." The wisdom of this book is not merely academic. It is a toolkit for a better life. Here are the lessons to carry with you. First, slow down for important decisions. When faced with a major choice about your career, your finances, your health, do not rely on your initial intuition. Recognize that this is a moment where biases can run rampant. Create a checklist. Seek out dissenting opinions. Force your lazy System 2 to do its job. Second, reframe your reality. Since you know that losses hurt more than gains feel good, reframe your choices. Instead of thinking about the risk of losing, think about the opportunity of gaining. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of failure, consider the cost of inaction. Third, design your environment for success. You cannot easily change your mind, but you can change the environment in which your mind operates. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on willpower. Put the fruit at eye level and hide the junk food. This is called choice architecture, making it easier for your future self to make the right decision. And finally, the most profound reflection of all, pay attention to the happiness of both yourselves. Create beautiful stories for your remembering self by seeking out meaningful peaks and ensuring strong endings. But do not forget your experiencing self. Savor the small, quiet, and beautiful moments that make up the vast majority of your life. The story is important, but so is the living. Thinking, fast and slow, does more than just explain how we think. It holds up a mirror and shows us who we are. The journey it offers is not to become a perfect, rational machine, but to become a wiser, more humble, and more self-aware human being. For the greatest act of intelligence is to be aware of the limits of our own intelligence.